Hello there, my very good friends. WWE and AEW don't do trades, but if they did, like some kind of sports league, these are the moves that would freshen both companies up in the new year. And don't worry, there are a few hot takes in here as well. Let's kick this thing off. I'm Andy. This is Adam.
Hello.
I'm WWE. He's AEW.
What?
Just like our personal biases. And we're starting off with number 10, Miro, to WWE. He's had a weird few years in AEW, man. By the way, if you enjoy this list, check out the article written by Jamie Kennedy on which it is based. It's on our website right now. It's really good stuff. But Miro's had a weird couple of years in AEW. He had the long absence that wasn't really explained.
No.
Aside from him filming a TV show for like a month or something. He's been back on television since Collision launched, and he's been on and off. He's been in the typical AEW schedule of working a match, disappearing, coming back, working a match, disappearing. Doing the stuff with his wife, of course, CJ Perry, who's in the company these days, and her various managerial clients, which has set up various programs here and there. But, you know, after an incredible TNT title run early on, after the interesting best man stuff, shall we say.
Not the debut I would have picked, but still.
No, certainly not. It's safe to say, I think, that on the whole, his run maybe hasn't quite worked out the way he'd wanted to. So maybe, if they trade him over to the bigger company, maybe it'd work out over there again.
Look, I think Miro could be exactly in the vein of a Drew McIntyre and a Cody Rhodes, a guy who, when he was sticking around in WWE, was just stuck in the mid-card and was never going to really break that glass ceiling and get into the world title picture. You brought him back now, especially if you did the gimmick like you say that you had with the TNT title of just murderer with one glowing red weak spot that you can go for, but if he realises that's what you're doing, you're going to die sooner and even more painfully. I think he could be a world champion in no time if you went to the Fed.
He's like the fire giant in Elden Ring. He's like, it looks really scary. You just punch his leg and then it snaps. That's what you do, man. That's what you do. But then he's got a second phase and you have to punch him in the eye.
You like that sort of thing? What culture gaming? Because I didn't understand any of that.
It's a great game.
Right, let's move on to number 9. DIY going to AEW. Look, I love Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And WWE are sort of trying with them in Triple H's weird way. At time of recording, they're going back and forth with Imperium, mainly losing to Imperium. And the crowd just aren't really reacting to them because they haven't been given a reason to. If you're a fan from NXT, you know how sensational these guys are. If not, you're like, isn't that the guy who's like Miz's mate for a bit? And Johnny Gargano's just sort of there, and he was wearing JBL's hat for a bit when he turned up on the main roster. Look, you don't need me to lay out how many sensational matches they could have in AEW. You know, the list is almost endless because they can pull a great match out of almost anyone, but think of the tag teams that you've got in AEW right now. I just think they'd be received better over there, and I think they could really make the most of their abilities over there. And if you did the split with them over there, it's not just rerunning old ground from the developmental show effectively.
Fresh options, isn't it? Fresh options. Like, we forget that the Gargano and Ciampa have been in WWE for like 7 years now. So, you know, it's always cool seeing people moving to new places and just having fresh and exciting matches. So yeah, I'm in favor. Number 8, Britt Baker to WWE. Now, there are some barricades to this. We'll talk about one of those barricades a bit later in the video. But if Britt was to go to WWE, there's no chance in hell she'd be able to do her dentistry career as well at the same time.
I was going to say, you could have Isaac Yankem manage her.
There you go. There's no problems with that at all.
That's a dude who's never been problematic, Andy Murray.
But you think about Britt's run in AEW, where does she kind of go from here, right? She's tremendous. She's a tremendous TV star who has been the figurehead of the division, champion for a long ass time. She's a great talker. She's a great character. And she's been in the middle of some of AEW's biggest programs. So for me, this is kind of a similar thing of just going somewhere else and interacting with some fresh people. A lot of people have like a weird hatred of Britt Baker. Like idiots. A lot of people in 2023 have made that a personality trait. It's usually men.
I get the feeling as well when she goes to the Fed, if she does, people will suddenly forget about all that as well.
They certainly will. But yeah, it's fresh options and fresh matches, fresh personalities, and she would be great on the TV show because she's a TV star.
Oh, so they'd make her feel huge, and she could be received as the babyface that she would be received as, making the leap over there, and then descend into kind of her best role in my opinion as a heel, maybe even with some lackeys like a Rebel or whoever that may be. Do you think, Andy Murray, here's the question, do you think that WWE would acknowledge her history over there, or would they say, hey, isn't that the girl who was in the crowd when Adam Cole took a bump once in NXT? You must have been inspired to get into wrestling off the back of that.
Well, do like a fan storyline, like a Mikey Whipwreck.
She watched Adam Cole nearly die and thought, that's for me. Packing this old dentistry lark.
Yeah, don't need that.
Asuka.
Skilled profession.
Sorry,
Asuka.
Just yelled Asuka
Number
out loud.
7.
She's number 7. She should go to AEW in 2024. Look, she is made in WWE. She could happily just stay there, misting people left, right, and centre. And at time of recording, I love what she's done in terms of just at time of recording, aligning with Damage Control. But kind of done everything.
Yep.
Kind of done everything that she possibly can. It would be a good trade, actually, Britt Baker for Asuka. I think both parties would kind of get a fair swap for that sort of thing, because they're both characters who can do just about everything and have kind of done everything where they are. Like we say, a new location for that sort of thing, I think could work wonders for someone like Asuka.
Yeah.
I want to see...
Who's she facing?
No.
Oh, okay.
I want to see Adam Copeland get misted. So there you go.
Okay. I mean, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Like, he is a very expressive man. He would do some crazy
So
facial
Asuka
expressions.
versus Abaddon. What's that going to look like?
Oh my goodness, that'd be sensational. What a load of fun. Shall we move on
Yeah.
to the next one? Who's
The other
going,
name was Ricky Starks, by the way. Never missed that man.
Who's going to WWE at number 6? Wardlow, eh?
Oh,
Eh?
yes.
I think that the booking comparisons, or just the general comparisons between Wardlow and Batista are very appropriate. And not just because they are large and they use power bombs. But you can't tell me that Wardlow wouldn't arrive in WWE and they'd use him really well. Because he has all the traits to succeed in that company, even in the modern era. We still love big, beefy boys. We love our meaty men still, and he is one of them. His AEW run, there's been ups and downs for sure, but the MJF program shows that you can get this man all the way over with the right creative, and if Triple H gave him the right creative, I think he'd be a megastar.
Yeah, you know, people have speculated about Jade Cargill coming in and getting this undefeated streak in WWE. I'd give it to Wardlow.
Yeah.
Make him seem like the absolute monster that he could be. I can already picture him making some big entrance with a symphony behind him at a premium live event. Yeah, I genuinely think, even if Vince was still in charge, they couldn't get Wardlow wrong. And
Oh no, Vince would.
oh, Vince would find a way probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, WWE just feels like a better fit for him right now, because there's a lot of people at the top of that card. I like the idea of him and MJF obviously going after each other, but after that, I think it proves when he left with his TNT title side of things. I don't think really know what to do with him. I think WWE would absolutely nail it.
Let's do it.
Oh, I'm next, aren't I?
You are.
Well, from one really talented guy who could be utilised higher up in the card of his switch companies to another. Number 5, Ricochet to AEW. Ricochet's kind of found his level in WWE. He was sort of underutilised, then he got jobbed out to Brock Lesnar in Saudi, and then he's just sort of
Good.
just knows where he's at right now in WWE, and I'm sure he's very happy there. Obviously, his missus is there doing announcing and what have you, so they've got to factor that into all this.
Growling.
Yes.
He growls a lot, Ricochet.
But-
I've just made that up.
But, again, you don't need me to list the amount of people, and I'm assuming Will Ospreay may well end up in AEW, that Ricochet could
Might
have.
be announced by the time this comes
Yeah.
out. Who knows? We'll see.
Ricochet in AEW would, I mean, break Meltzer's scale, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
It's just preposterous what he can do, and the shackles, I think it's fair to say, would be off over there.
Yeah, I think Ricochet's had a pretty decent year. Like, at least relative to his previous years in
Yes.
WWE. This has been pretty good. Like, the Braun Strowman year tag team was a lot of fun.
Oh.
I really enjoyed that. And he's had other bits and pieces here and there, like the Logan Paul program, of course. The spot they had at Money in the Bank was just an incredible save.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, it's an interesting one to put in, but from the same token, Ricochet is like one of the best high flyers of all time, and he doesn't get as many opportunities to show that as people would maybe like, myself included. So if he went into an environment where he could have matches that make your eyeballs pop out of your skull like
Yes.
once or twice a month, That would be sick, and it would be great.
Trade offer for WWE. Either give him the World Heavyweight Championship, they're never going to put the WWE title on him. Either give him the World Heavyweight Championship or let him go to AEW.
That's how it should work. Number 4, Adam Cole.
Baby.
To AEW. No, wait, to WWE. He's already in AEW.
That makes sense. Britt Baker's going.
Yeah. This is really simple, right? This is really simple. Triple H loves him.
Yes.
There you go. That's why. Also, like, you know, Vince wanted to make him Keith Lee's manager. And you've got to imagine that
my brain hurt.
Yeah, you've got to imagine that maybe played a role in his decision to leave in 2021. I think that Triple H would love to have Adam Cole back, and I think he would push him to the moon. Obviously, man, Adam's been so unlucky with injuries and stuff, right? Like, he had the concussion issues, and that had the big emotional comeback and all of that stuff. And then, you know, he jumps off the stage during his MJF program and his knee falls apart. The poor bugger. So I wish him all the best. He's the nicest man alive by all accounts. But yeah, Triple H would love to have him back, and he would use him well.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be there going, cool, when can I have another 5-star plus match with Johnny? What do you mean he's gone to AEW? But yeah, Adam Cole in WWE just makes sense. Is another one you can add to my list of people who would not have been utilised well had they moved from NXT to the main roster, or if they even had been on the main roster like Miro for a bit. We're never going to break through the glass ceiling. You go somewhere else, you come back. World champion right there, Adam Cole for me.
Why not?
Let's move over to the next person going from WWE to AEW. Number 3, AJ Styles. AJ Styles can kind of put his feet up in WWE right now. He's done everything he wants to do. He's having a lovely time. He's had some time off for injuries, which is very rare for AJ Styles. But he's solid in his position within WWE right now. But this is a guy who's always challenged himself over the years, and I think someone who also has another major world title run potentially in his future. But I think that future would lie within AEW because, yeah, I will say this. Give Cody his AJ Styles match before he leaves, because I know Cody said that's one of the big ones he wants to have.
Yep.
So maybe you do it as a world title thing and then AJ Styles leaves. I know companies don't do that, but, well, I'll circle back to that on number 1, by the way. But AJ Styles in AEW just makes sense, Andy.
Yeah, I think AJ's contract's up next year, I believe, and he strikes me as somebody who could maybe be a victim of Endeavor being really tight. This company is not going to throw massive, huge contracts at people just to keep them around.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, you know, the absolute big dogs of this company.
You've said that.
Yeah, there you go. And AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers of all time, but he's not a valuable, like a critical part of the WWE puzzle anymore. He just isn't.
No.
He's still really good at what he does, but he's not Roman Reigns in terms of like how they've positioned him.
His top position would be challenger for world title right now, I think,
100%,
rather than winner.
100%. And he was that in the finals of the World Heavyweight title tournament in a way, of course. So, look, AJ's an all-time great. He has slowed down a little bit in the past few years. That's undeniable, but he's still awesome. I think it'd be really cool to see him cap his legacy there. I'd also like to see him do another Impact match, or whatever. Like, it'd just be nice at TNA.
Yeah, getting back in TNA. And he could do that as part of AEW. I was going to say he's a star around the world, but then that just confused him. So I'll just say he's phenomenal.
Yeah, you can't say around the world. It's across. Number 2. This is where people call us idiots.
Here we go.
MJF to WWE. Now, the thing with this entry is because it's late December now and we're recording this a good bit in advance, spoiler alert, there's a chance that this saga may have already been resolved. So if that's the case, I don't know, pretend we said
Ricky Starks.
Brody King. And I don't know, just pick a name and formulate a case. However, he's the big one, and there are lots of points you could make here. He is the person on the AEW roster that WWE would look at and go, yes, that is the person who will not only harm them the most if we get him, but also benefit us the most. He's young, he is a centerpiece on that show, and he can be a centerpiece for us. You can get the whole package, because then his entrance theme is just like a production song. You could use that song, you could have the whole presentation, there'd be no difference between the MJF on this side and the MJF on this side. Full authentic package. Cody Rhodes is there. Good friends,
God.
of course.
Wardlow's going to be there.
Yeah, his best mate Baron Corbin, who he's always battering with on socials, is there. Jolly old Saint Nick might yet come through on Christmas Day, which was a few days ago, with that contract, I guess. But look, we kind of had to put MJF on this video for the crack. But what do you think?
I can't really say a lot because I know too much, what with him being my best friend, but...
Always.
Yeah, and we should say, you said we were recording this in advance. Yeah, I've not kept this until like late December. Guess when we're recording it.
Sorry, Mrs. Wilborn, the moustache stays.
But yeah, I think obviously, and you talk about the whole Endeavour money situation. I think I'm not going to say any names because that's not what we want doing on this channel. But I think Triple H would say I can lose X, Y, and Z because I want to use that money to offer a big money deal for someone like MJF. Because like you say, he'd be such a huge get for WWE. Bring him in, like you say, get him to work in NXT to work out how to wrestle for a few years, and then bang, main roster feud with Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
And as if that's not going to get us enough comments, let's move on to number one.
No.
The top person that AEW should trade for in 2024, Dominic Mysterio. No, although that could be, oh boy.
How's he going to work without canned booze, I wonder?
Good point.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn is my number one pick for AEW. I will caveat this, just to try and counteract some of the comments, by saying, in my version of events, he has a brief run with the world title and then says, if I can't retain this world title, I'll leave the company. Because maybe we can dream that companies don't have to be like, this guy sucks, he sucks, right, he's off now. And just maybe you don't have to do that anymore. Yeah. It's a different world in 2024. But yeah, Sami Zayn in AEW, look, he has had a phenomenal run. I think so he's someone we'd have picked and have picked previously to jump to AEW because we thought, well, he's never going to do it. And then he had that amazing, fantastic storyline as part of the Bloodline. He obviously had a world title win in the main event, tag team titles, but the main event of WrestleMania 39. But he's expressed creative frustration. And I think if you look at a place that will allow you to express your creativity, it's AEW. And I think that the EVPs and some of the big stars within AEW would love to have someone like Sami Zayn around.
For sure. And a good dude as well, by all accounts, too. So, yeah, I think you could do all kinds of fun stuff, right? You could do an El Generico match.
Good point. What's he up to?
Yeah, I wonder if he's still hanging out. What backstory was that? He
disappeared.
Was it an orphanage?
Something like that.
I can't even remember because my brain doesn't work. I wouldn't bring him in as El Generico. I would do one match or something for the banter because I think he's just grown so far beyond that. Yeah. But look, if there was somehow a way to get him and Kevin Steen over, I would do it in a second.
Yeah, I do think that the people we've laid out, it's not going to happen. Like you say, trades don't happen in wrestling.
It's a preposterous concept, but it's a fun one.
But I do like the idea of putting some of our picks against each other as let's sit down at the negotiating table and see if we can hammer something like this out. I think, Sami Zayn in AEW, Sami Zayn and Kevin Steen. I'm like, yeah.
Do you think you could trade Ric Flair for the Robot? Why the hell not?
I'm all right, thanks.
Yeah. No.
Right, let us know if you think we've missed any out, or you want to call us bellends in the comments section below. And why not check out this video as well.
Bye.
Bye.
Enjoy New Year.